Good evening, everyone. We'll be starting in just a second. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Our webinar will begin in just a few minutes. And while you're waiting, feel free to review our program information at csudh.edu/CEIE/PM. Good evening. My name is Anissa Barton, and I'm the social media specialist for the College of Extended and International Education here at California State University, Dominguez Hills. I'll be your host for this presentation. Welcome. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on our website and social media resources shortly after today's session. Feel free to download the Project Management Certificate Programs Information Kit for details about the program and additional resources covered in this webinar. The address is bit.ly/CSUDH-PM-info kit. We have provided a link in the chat for those who are participating live. It will also be available via follow-up email to attendees, as well as on our website. Now, before we jump in, I'd like to review the Zoom controls. This session is being presented in a webinar format, so you won't need to worry about connecting your microphone or camera. However, we want your participation. Help address your needs. Use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen if you're joining us from the Zoom desktop app or web browser, or in the top right of your screen if you and you'll be able to turn on your live transcript on or off at your convenience. I noticed that we just dropped a connection, so I'm going to try to restart our presentation for us. Just a second. There we go. Okay, so once you've clicked on the Q&A button, a dialog box will open, allowing you to type your question. Our marketing staff members, Stephanie Bukian and Keith Otterberg, as well as our program director, Elizabeth Legg, are standing by to assist. We'll be answering those questions that you have at the end of the session, although often you may find the question you have has been answered during those program overviews. With that being said, let's take a quick look at our session's agenda. We'll begin by meeting our certificate faculty who will introduce you to the program via an overview of benefits, expectations, and course details. Then we'll go over registration and login information and address your questions in our Q&A session. We'll also have a survey at the end of this webinar, and we'd love to get your feedback so we can make future events even better. And if you're on social media, please use the hashtag CSUDH Extended Ed or tag our social media at CSUDH Extended Ed. Our program instructors for project management are Dr. Kamala Namdar and Mr. Tamo Wilkins. They will be sharing their personal insight and expertise on the program, its benefits and details, and Mr. Wilkins will be available for our Q&A segment at the end of this presentation. So let's take it away.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted that you have chosen to join us for this information session. I will be talking about our project management programs tonight. Before I begin, I'd like to give you a brief overview of my background so that you can see where I'm coming from and the qualifications I bring to this program. I have worked for over 46 years in industry, including 31 years of experience in project management. I have worked on various types of projects, including software development, engineering, and construction. I have worked for both owners and for contractors, and have worked in private industry as well as on government projects for public agencies. Each of these environments, software, engineering, construction, owner, contractor, private, and public, have their own challenges and ways of doing things. I'd like to say I've been around the block many times and in all directions. I have also lectured and presented papers in multiple areas of project management and am considered a subject matter expert in planning and scheduling, as well as earned value management. All of this allows me to bring my vast arsenal of personal anecdotes from the trenches to the classroom. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will help you make the connection between the academics we teach you and the actual practice of project management in the real world. As for this program, I developed the original curriculum back in 2007, and I have been teaching this program continuously ever since. Of course, it has been constantly updated to stay in sync with the PMBOK guide and project management trends. I'd like to take just a moment to show you some of the projects I worked on to give you an idea of how exciting the profession of project management can be. One thing I ask you to please keep in mind is that while the projects I have been blessed to work on can be large and even mega projects, everything we teach you, however, is scalable to any size project. This is a Google Maps satellite view of my favorite project, so you'll hear quite a bit about it in this program. It is my favorite because it was very successful despite major challenges with vendor delays, a very tight schedule, and conflict resolution issues. It is a waste wood-burning power plant Our client is buying waste wood and generating electricity to make money. So our client is known as an independent power producer. By the way, I'm happy to say that I personally now am also an independent power producer. I have solar panels on my roof. And here is the Google Map street view of the same project that I captured a few months ago. It brings back such great memories. This is another Google Map satellite view. It is of the Diamond Valley Reservoir near Hemet, California. The Metropolitan Water District wanted to create an emergency water supply on the west side of the San Andreas Fault in case it ruptures the Colorado River water supply to this area. So my company designed the dams at each end of the valley that you can see here as straight lines on the east and west ends, as well as a pumping station that pumps water into this above ground reservoir. And in this view, it is a photograph that shows you the reservoir from the top of the west dam, looking towards the east. And the east dam is visible as that straight line there in the distance. The structure in the middle of the picture is the intake structure that connects the water in the reservoir to the pumps, which are located behind and below me. This is another fascinating project in Manhattan, New York. My company designed a whole new train station under the existing Grand Central Terminal. The existing station is shown in the light gray area, and you're looking at a cross-cut view of the platforms and tracks. The new platforms and tracks are in the yellow area below. They are known as the East Train Room and the West Train Room. A long escalator provides access to the lower level. The insert on the left shows the actual excavation of the train rooms. Each of the circular tunnels will bring a track to the platforms to be built in this excavated space. And this is just another view, larger view of the excavation of the train room. This is a nuclear power plant still under construction at TVA's Browns Ferry plant. You can see from the cars in the parking lots that this was quite a large project, requiring a lot of human resources. These people are the project team, including construction staff, not the operators of the plant. This is an example artist's rendition of a software development project for a utility to control their transmission and distribution of electricity from a central control room. My company designed and built these systems and developed the software applications to make it all work. And I managed several of these projects over the years. And this shows the system architecture for such a system. So I'm not expecting that you grasp all of this, but my purpose in showing this to you is to get you excited about the possibilities that lie ahead of you if you pursue a career in project management. This is such a rewarding profession as you reflect on the benefits that your projects provide to those who had the visions to create and build great things. Again, lest you worry that you are not going to be working on complex projects of this magnitude, keep in mind, any project that you might be involved in will create value for some customer or end user. And to be part of that should give you a measure of pride and satisfaction. Now let us consider one question. Why is project management so popular? Organizations have come to realize that there is a direct link between managing projects well and realizing great productivity and profits. On the left, you see what you have without project management. Everyone running in about the same direction, but not well coordinated. And on the right, you see what it looks like with good project management. Now let us look at the programs that we offer. There are two programs that make up project management offerings here at Extended and International Education. The Project Management Certificate Program. This teaches you what you need to know about managing projects of all types and sizes and how to be a good project manager. And Microsoft Project Scheduling. This teaches you how to use a critical software tool for managing projects of any complexity. And I'll be describing these in detail. There are a broad range of industries and endeavors that engage in conducting projects. It behooves us to take just a second and consider, what is a project? It's an endeavor that produces, designs, or creates something that wasn't in existence before the project. Now, when you consider these various industries, let your imagination soar, and you will start to appreciate the projects they might engage on. For example, finance, financial products and systems, new processes, online banking, and so on. Information technology, any software development that you can imagine, any application or website. Energy. These are the power plants, transmission lines, wind farms, solar power plants, hydroelectric dams, for example. Government, anything that you can imagine that the government does, like freeway construction, transportation systems, schools, the manned landing on Mars, aerospace and defense, space stations, rockets, satellites, military stuff like planes and tanks. Healthcare, patient processes, hospital systems, medical records management, pharmaceutical products. And construction, anything that you see around you that is being built. And for those of you who are interested in Project Management Institute certifications, here's some considerations regarding PMI's certifications. You need a minimum amount of management education to be allowed to take the exam. 35 hours for the PMP and 23 hours for the CAPM. Our certificate program provides you with 66 hours. For the CAPM examination, you do not need any work experience. For the PMP examination, you need 4,500 hours work experience if you have a bachelor's degree, and 7,500 hours if you do not have a bachelor's degree. And this experience has to be within the last 10 years. Work experience counts is any leadership role of 2 or more people in a project environment, including volunteer work. As I just stated, our certificate and PM program provides 66 class hours of education and covers the entire PMBOK guide topics. It is not a sanctioned PMP exam preparation course. However, it will give you the knowledge that you need to pass the exams. We have many students report back to us that they passed the exam on their first try. For complete and most current information, be sure to consult the certification handbook available on Project Management Institute's website, pmi.org. Project Management Certificate program that we teach here uses PMI's PMBOK guide, currently the 6th edition, as the primary text. This guide is mostly organized into 10 knowledge areas with a total of 49 processes. You will become very familiar with these, but let's take a closer look. Let's look at 9 of the 10 knowledge areas, with integration of them altogether being the 10th area. The box labeled reporting in the center represents communications knowledge area. Each knowledge area represents one of the many functions of project management. And as this illustration implies, they are all interconnected. When something happens or changes in one area, there is an impact on some or all of the other areas. For example, if we add some scope, for example, additional work to the project, there are likely to be added activities to do that work, additional cost for the extra work. Perhaps we need to add more people and resources to the project, so the human resources area is affected. Perhaps there is added risk arising from the added work. It could be that quality requirements are impacted by the new scope. Maybe we have to procure or outsource more work, and perhaps more stakeholders become interested in the project. And this surely will require additional communications and reporting. So while we cover each of these areas individually, we constantly reflect how the other areas are impacted. PMI's PMBOK guide is a required text for this project management certificate course, and it is the only required text. Let's take a look at the source materials that we use. For example, the PMBOK guide and the fact that these are registered marks for Project Management Institute. So a quick word about the PMBOK guide edition. PMI has just released the 7th edition a week or two ago. It will be significantly revised in its organization. The 6th edition is still the basis, however, for the CAPM and the PMP exams, at least for the remainder of 2021. It will take students and instructors time to react to the new material. Let us take a quick look at the program structure, who the attendant audience for this program is, and what the outcome should be. There are 5 courses labeled PMX 900, PMX 901, 902, 903, and 904. PMX 900 is a prerequisite for the remaining courses. This program has been designed and sequenced with a purpose, and so we strongly recommend that you take these courses in numerical order. So here are some of the people who will benefit from taking the Project Management Certificate program. It's for people who want to hone their project management skills, people who want to learn what project management is all about, for those who want to enter the project management profession, and for those people who want to enhance their chance of promotion, as well as preparing for an interview for a new position, and for people who want to gain the knowledge base for the PMP or CAPM examinations. We offer these courses each spring and each fall. There are Saturday morning classes as well as weeknight classes available. Please refer to the information kit for detailed schedule information. A few words about expectations. These classes are not webinars, but they are classroom learning experiences. Consequently, students are expected and even required to participate actively in the discussions and to bring their experiences, questions, and challenges to the class. The more you put into this program by participation, the more you will get out of it. You will receive credit for each course by demonstrating your attendance during each class. The primary objective of the Project Management Certificate program is to enhance your skills in the practice of managing projects and to provide you with the understanding of project management as a scientific and professional business function, which means that it is structured, based on an established body of knowledge, and practiced with some degree of uniformity. It is based on the PMBOK guide. And here is an all-important consideration. This program teaches you how to manage projects of all types and sizes, as I have stated before. Because PMI will test you on your knowledge of managing large projects, we will be teaching you how to do just that. However, we will constantly remind you that this material applies to any project. The tools and methods are all scalable. And I have so much faith in this program that I give my students an ironclad guarantee that at the end of the program, you will be a better project manager. So here are some outcomes for the successful student. You will understand the meaning of what a project is, what is meant by project management. You will appreciate the scope and purpose of project management. You will learn what it takes to be a good project manager. You will grasp an understanding of all the knowledge areas and processes considered part of the body of knowledge, and you will have an appreciation of how the academics relate to the real world. Now I want to take a moment and talk about the Microsoft Project course. Microsoft Project is a software tool that is designed to assist the project manager and his or her team in the effort to complete their project successfully. Specifically, the tool will help you develop a schedule of activities for your project, and this is the roadmap for executing the project. Assign and manage resources, both human as well as equipment and material. Analyze workloads and help in the hiring of additional staff if required. Track the team's progress in executing the project, managing the budget and tracking actual costs, and most importantly, communicating with the many stakeholders who want to know what's going on with your project. Now, we created this as a separate course because it is fairly extensive and focused on the software. It would be too much to build into a certificate program. The benefit of someone like me teaching this course is that you not only learn how to be an efficient menu jockey, as I call it, how to actually manage a project with this tool. And it costs relatively little. This program teaches you not just a part, but everything, including beginner, intermediate, and advanced, for a price you're not likely to find anywhere else. Let's take a look at who should attend this course. It's for people who are in project management, our PMX series, or construction management, our CMX series certificate programs, who need training in the actual software. It's for people who wish to gain proficiency in using Microsoft Project, as well as for those who wish to enter the project management profession at the entry level with scheduling software knowledge. It's for people who want to train their project management and scheduling planning staff in the proficiency of Microsoft Project. And it's for people who wish to learn how to configure the software application to be compliant with PMI's PMBOK guide and practice standard for scheduling. And as I mentioned, this program is also delivered in the spring and in the fall. The objective of this course is to give the student the skills and confidence of using Microsoft Project to manage the project timeline and the resources and costs of the project. It is designed to give you the opportunity to use the software in a hands-on format to demonstrate and practice the many features and functions of the software. Each student will personally perform all the functions being taught on their own computer. It focuses on the critical path method of scheduling, which is the predominant method used by scheduling practitioners. The topics of critical chain and agile methodologies are discussed briefly as they might be implemented in the soft project. So just to summarize, at the completion of this course, the successful student will appreciate the complexity of the program and be able to avoid some of the pitfalls of applying the software out of the box. The student will have a thorough command of the menu structure and the many features of the software. You will be able to create schedules, develop cost-loaded baselines, track progress of your project, produce meaningful reports to your stakeholders, as well as customize the software to your particular preferences. This tool will provide you with an essential skill set if you are considering entering the project management profession. Imagine applying for a carpenter's job and you don't have even a toolbox that a carpenter would need. So the Microsoft Project Training Manual is the required text for this course. And when you look inside, here you see a couple of sample pages, you will notice it is very illustrated and graphic, thereby providing a lasting reference guide for the software. It is only available in the campus bookstore. You will need it on the first day of class, but the bookstore is not open on Sundays. Now, I hope this has been informative for you, and I do appreciate your attendance again. And at this point, I'd like to turn this back over to Anissa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wilkins. Thank you so much for this incredibly insightful information. I'm going to go back to Mr. Wilkins momentarily for our Q&A segment. But first, let's take a quick look at our course delivery and registration details. Now, almost all of the CSUDH extended education programs are being offered in an online format, which means that the students are assigned online access through our campus's IT services. Each student will need login credentials to access our student portal called My CSUDH. This portal includes Blackboard, our learning management system, where course content is distributed, Toro Mail, which is our Gmail-based student email system, and the Zoom web conferencing tool, of course. These login credentials, which consist of your username, email account, and password, are issued through our registration office approximately 2 to 3 business days after registration in your first course. Now, enrollment is available from our extended education registration office Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you've taken courses at CSUDH in the past 2 years, you may register online using your mycsudh.edu account. There are no prerequisites for enrollment and no admission process. We highly recommend that you register early to make sure that there's space in the course and to allow enough time for course information and online access information to be created and distributed. Payment is due at the time of registration. Now, you can pay for courses individually, or you can pay for multiple courses all at once. The federal WIOA, and that is Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, provides funding through the California Employment Development Department for qualifying students who are currently either unemployed or seeking career training. For more information, please email WIOA, W-I-O-A, at csudh.edu, or visit our program website for more information. If you need any additional financial assistance, please Google private student loan providers or connect with sallymay.com for student loan details. Again, we recommend that you register at least 1 week before the course begins and check your Toro Mail and personal emails frequently for special instructions and campus notifications. You'll also want to be sure to test your account access in Blackboard and get comfortable with the layout of the class, such as where to find announcements, Zoom meeting schedules, discussions, and the like. Let us know via our academic technology services if you're having any difficulties connecting. Now we're going to get ready for our question with Mr. Wilkins. So to start off, we're going to kick it off with a few introductory questions, a little warm up. And Mr. Wilkins, if you're online, go ahead and unmute yourself and put your camera on, and we'll be ready to kick it off. Good to see you. All right, so the first question that usually comes in is, how do I get hired if I want to be a project manager and I don't have the project management experience? What is that like? Can you tell us a little bit?
This is a very common question, and it is a bit of a conundrum because so many companies want to hire people as project manager with a whole bunch of project management experience. I actually entered the profession by being asked to head up the scheduling department for an engineering company way back in 1979. That was my entry into the project management profession. And I call that an entry level because I wasn't a project manager, but I was definitely involved in managing projects. And so our program will give you the knowledge of what it takes to be a good project manager, but you may have to go for a position that I call entry-level positions, such as a scheduler, a planner, a cost manager or cost engineer, a contract administrator, a risk manager, and the like, focusing on some aspects of project management. Our program, of course, will give you the tools and the knowledge for doing that, but that is what I would go for. And the course on Microsoft Project Scheduling is an excellent course to help you with that, because that will give you, real live experience in using the software. And then, of course, the way I teach it is how do you manage a project with the software? And when you're armed with that, you will have a pretty good chance, I would imagine, to be hired as a scheduler or a cost schedule manager, an assistant project manager, or something along those lines. So I hope that answered the question.
Excellent, excellent, it does. So our next question is there homework? What is an assignment like in either the project management course or the MS Project course?
Okay, there's that horrible H word.
Right.
Okay, yes, we do. In the certificate program, there is homework, as you might consider it. What I do is I organize my students into project teams, depending on the class size, anywhere from 4 to 6 students per team. And they will then be asked to perform various activities and exercises between classes and to present the results in the following class to the rest of the class. And from that, we then all learn from actually doing some of the things that I will be teaching you. So that's the primary aspect of homework, and it's collaborative. It expects you to participate within your team. There are a couple of, few small number of assignments that you can do individually, where you do not have to collaborate with your team members. Of course, you can, but yes, and so that does extend your involvement with the program beyond the classroom.
Okay. The next question is, how many textbooks are needed? Does a student need to buy a whole slew of them, or is it a particular one they have in mind?
The textbook we're using that the certificate program is based on is the 6th edition of the PMBOK guide. And there was a question which I will address a little bit later on, asking about the 7th edition. But we're using the 6th edition, and because that contains all the knowledge that this program is based on. And that's the only textbook that is actually required. You can get it from Amazon, eBay, PMI directly, or any source you want. You can ask your cousin if they've taken the program and they happen to have a spare PMBOK guide, or even if they haven't taken this program, anybody that has a PMBOK guide they might want to pass on, however you can get a hold of. Now, the PMBOK guide is available for free in PDF download, Adobe Reader download from PMI if you are a PMI member, which costs currently $169 a year. That's actually a pretty good bargain. So you might consider that. For Microsoft project scheduling, there is no homework. You will have the opportunity to practice on your own, but I don't have any specific assignments for that. There are some exercises in the training manual that I do leave for the students to do on their own, so you might consider that homework, but it's something that is up to you to do. There is only one textbook for Microsoft project scheduling, and that is the training manual. I showed it to you briefly on one of the slides here. It is only available in the CSUDH bookstore, which is not open on Sundays, and I think the hours are until 2 p.m. in weekdays. They will ship it to you if you get it early enough. That textbook you need to have on the first day of class. If you do not, you can still take the class, but you're going to be hampered by not having that training manual in front of you, because that is the basis of what I'll be teaching you.
Excellent. And one of the questions that came in, I know you just mentioned a minute ago, John Lazy is asking, it was said that the PMBOK Guide version 7 is out and includes extensive revisions, and that the PMP exam will be based on version 6 through the end of 2021. However, those starting on the PMP curriculum now will likely be taking the test in 2022. Will we be taking a test based on a guide different than what will be taught in the classes? How do we address that?
That is an excellent question. And quite frankly, the answer is even PMI doesn't know yet. So now that may sound horrible and totally confusing. Allow me to take a moment to explain. The PMP exam is based on what PMI calls the exam content outline. That is a document you can download from the PMI site. The exam content outline covers topics that we have been covering since 2007. So you know that the certificate program is based on sound material. That is also based on essentially the 6th edition of the PMBOK Guide. What PMI has done is they've added greater emphasis on people-related, people management, leadership type questions than they had in previous years, but it's still the 6th edition of the PMBOK Guide. Starting in 2022, PMI is promising, or you might say threatening, to change the PMP and the CAPM exams to consider the 7th edition. Now, the 7th edition has created a major upheaval in the industry because it has gone completely away from the body of knowledge of project management. It has gone to a very high level, almost an executive level coverage of what project management is about. And those people that are authorized training partners and people that are getting ready to deliver that kind of training, they are also at a loss as to what will happen in 2022. So PMI is going to be modifying the exam content outline at some point along the way towards the beginning of 2022. When they will actually roll that out, we do not know. Now, to answer the question about, well, if I take the program now, am I going to miss out on the 7th edition? Actually, no, you won't. As I said, the exam content outline is very much in sync with our certificate program, or the other way around. Our certificate program is very much in sync with the exam content outline. We are creating another module that we will be offering that will specifically be devoted to the 7th edition. So we will be covering the content of the 7th edition of the PMBOK Guide, and we will tack that on to the end of our overall program. So even if you take the certificate program at this point in time, you will be ready to take the 7th edition addendum, as I'd like to call it for the moment.
Excellent. I love that you have a game plan ready to go for the changeover. So that's really informative and really good to know. Let's switch gears a little bit and let's talk about the classes themselves. So what happens if a student has a schedule conflict on the day of a class? How is that handled in terms of class expectations?
Okay, that of course happens on occasion, and we will work with you to do the makeup. As the program is offered several times throughout the year, the next makeup opportunity may only be a few months down the road, but also since we offer this program on Saturday mornings as well as on weekday nights, depending on the scheduling, there might be an opportunity where your makeup can be taken in the other stream, which may be with Dr. Inamdar, our other instructor, or vice versa. If you take his course, you might be able to take a makeup in my class either way. So we will work with you to do the makeup at your soonest, earliest opportunity. We, not infrequently, we have students who are working and they're sent out of town and they simply can't do it. Although, you know, if with the online training, we actually have students on the East Coast that join us as well. So we do have that flexibility. And we will work with you as best we can.
Okay. And if a student wanted to switch between the Saturday or the weeknight classes, is that a possibility, and how would that work?
That is possible between courses. When you register for a course such as 900, 901, 902, etc., you need to finish that course, those 5 sessions, with that same stream, with that same instructor. If you want to switch to the opposite, to a different stream, if you will, like from weeknight to Saturday or vice versa, you can do that for the next course module. Okay, but okay. You're not allowed to jump from one day to the next, one class to the next between one stream and another. It just wouldn't work, because while Dr. Inamdar and I follow the same syllabus, we are separate, different instructors, and we have our own methods and ways of presenting the material. So that is something to keep in mind.
Absolutely. So when a student completes the certificate program, what kind of certificate do they receive? What does it entail?
I don't have an example here to share with you online, but it is a certificate that you download. And what I tell my students is, when you get that certificate, it is proof that you've achieved a major milestone in your career, if not your life. And I always suggest to students, buy the biggest, gaudiest frame that money can afford, or that you can afford, and frame that puppy and hang it up on the wall for all the world to see. So that is indeed, it is not a diploma like you would get from a college, okay? But it is a certificate that attests that you've gone through this program. And people out there in industry, they know of this program, they recognize it, and they respect it. So it is a worthy goal to pursue.
Absolutely. And I'll add on to that, this is one of our digital credentials that is offered through extended education here at California State University, Dominguez Hills. And it includes a digital production. So once you complete your certificate, you will be able to receive a digital portion that you can share on your social media, that you can download, that is secured and a part of your collection of digital credentials. So it's part of our open badge. It'll be part of our open badge system, which means that you can share those credentials with future employers, with other training resources, and so on. So we are pretty proud of the fact that you're able to include that in your collection. Really good. Another question that we have is, okay, the student has completed the certificate program. What's next? What is their next step? What should they be looking forward to doing?
Well, first of all, make sure that your boss knows it, okay? If they're not already aware that you're going through the program, all right? Tell your friends and family with a big sigh of relief, like, phew, I finished this thing finally, okay? So that you can be proud of having achieved this. But if the question perhaps is pertaining to, well, where do I go with this relative to my certification attempts, okay, with PMI? Well, because you need minimum amount of education to even qualify to sit for the exam, this program will do that. So you can complete your application process for the PMP exam. What I suggest to my students, if they do want to go for the exam, is hopefully you've taken notes, because that's a great way of learning. Okay, all the slides I use during the classes, I make available for you to download, so you can annotate them and scribble on them. So I suggest my students review their notes, review the slides, and then take the PMBOK guide and read it like a novel, front to back. Just read through it, because as you do it, all of the materials we've covered are going to come back at you, that you're going to recognize. Oh yeah, I remember talking about this. Oh yeah, I remember what we talked about, and you know, it was a special deal and how to handle a certain situation, et cetera, et cetera. So all that stuff will come back to you. Once you've done that, I would be surprised if you could not pass the PMP exam. Obviously, I can't guarantee that, because each of you is going to be a different student. Some of you are very good learners. Some of you have a little bit of a challenge with the learning and need a little bit more help and support. But the materials we provide you, I think, are going to go a long, long way to help you sit for the exam. If you feel that you need some additional assurance and comfort level, there are numerous PMP exam preparation courses out there that PMI has authorized through their ATP program, the Authorized Training Partner Program. And those courses will help you, get another review and coverage of this project management material. Those courses are outlined, of course, also in sync with the exam content outlined.
Excellent. A question came in from Tamika. She asks, are any project management courses taken at CSUDH substitute for the courses listed in the certificate program? And I think she's referring to on-campus CSUDH programs.
Yeah, I'm not sure in what context that is asked with regard to the courses listed in the certificate program. Tamika, if you could clarify that question a little bit more, perhaps I can answer that better.
Okay. A final question in our FAQs is, how long do I have to complete the full project management program?
The official policy is you have 1 year from the start of your first class, PMX 900. And so, as I said before, we offer this in the spring and in the fall. So they're basically two cohorts or two streams, the spring semester, the fall semester, that will allow you to finish the program. With extreme extenuating circumstances, I believe the office has relaxed that requirement in some cases, but you are expected to finish it within a 12-month period.
Okay. We have a question. I'm kind of going into the Q&A portion more now. Hanbo asks, I have a question regarding the 4,500 hours. I think that's in the CAPM preparation. Do I have to be a project lead or project manager for these 4,500 hours? Can you explain a little bit about how that works?
Yeah, that's actually in reference to the PMP exam, because the CAPM doesn't require any experience. But it appears to me, and I was very surprised to see this just a few days ago, that PMI has tightened up those experience requirements somewhat. It used to be where, and I think one of our slides said that, the work experience could be in any leadership position of 2 or more people. And yet recently I've read, as actually attached to the exam content outline, that the experience has to be as a project manager. And I find that a little bit hard to believe, because that would disqualify a lot of people from taking the exam from my perspective. So I think, and I can't answer that other than to simply give you what PMI has published there, and that is the experience has to be as a project manager. I would explore that further, reach out to the PM project management community, talk to PMI members to see if they can shed a little more light on that. As I said, it's the first time I've seen that more restrictive requirements, just a couple of, I think less than a week ago. And it just threw me. I said, what? I didn't believe my eyes.
Right.
So yeah, that does make it a little bit tough. But you know, if you want to go in that direction, you have to start somewhere. And I think our program is excellent program to help you go into that direction.
Absolutely.
So it's a very good question, but
Okay.
I'm not sure I gave you a very likable answer.
And we had the follow-up from Tamika. She says she's taken fundamentals of project management, and could she substitute that for the prerequisite? I did get feedback from our program coordinator, Elizabeth Legg, who says, unfortunately, we are not able to transfer in courses from other programs, but we can look at the experience, and maybe you can email Mr. Wilkins directly and talk to him more about your experiences and how they can apply to the program. Okay. And so, and also we don't have a prerequisite. So we may need to talk with you, Tamika, directly for your particular situation, if that helps. We just want to make sure we get you the answers that you need. And Mr. Wilkins, do you have any follow-up commentary or information that you'd like to share before we move forward?
Just one real quickie that kind of relates to the last thing we were talking about. I think I covered it in the slides. I don't recall where I may have mentioned it, to be honest with you. But
that's okay.
We do recommend that that you take the course as a numerical sequence. 900 is a prerequisite to the rest of them, but 901, 2, 3, 4 could be taken out of sequence, but they have been sequenced with a specific purpose, and it would be beneficial if you did indeed take them in numerical order.
Excellent, excellent. I know that the students are anxious and excited to get started, so I know that they're ready to go, but we also know that you may have a few last questions. If we didn't address them here in the Q&A panel, please feel free to reach out to us on our social media here, and we'll put a follow-up in the slide. And of course, the information is in the information kit as well. So please be sure to get in touch with us. Let us know. We've covered a lot of information regarding the programs, but just in case we missed anything, please feel free to email us or call us during our business hours, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., or email us at learn@csudh.edu. Call us at 310-243-2075. That is our marketing extension. And when you're ready to take your next steps and get registered for the program, please contact our registration office, and they'll be standing by to take your registrations over the phone at 310-243-3741. And you're going to wait and click on option 1 when you hear the music. But remember, if you've recently been a student at CSUDH, simply log into your My CSUDH portal to register for your courses online. No prerequisites, everything is ready to go. So this concludes our project management certificate programs information session. We want to thank you for joining us today. Again, feel free to connect with us on our website, via our social media, on our Facebook and LinkedIn group pages. And remember to register early to get your spot in your preferred classes. We'd love to get your feedback on today's session. So please let us know how we can improve the quality of the information provided by visiting bit.ly/CSUDH-webinar-feedback. And for those of you who are joining us in the live session, this link will automatically appear in your web browser at the close of this session, as well as in your follow-up email. We'll stay in the session for a few more minutes to give everyone a moment to jot down last-minute notes, download the project management information kit from the chat panel, and the recording for this session will be online shortly on our website and on our LinkedIn, our social media as well. It's actually live on our YouTube channel right now. When you're ready to leave, simply click the red leave button in the corner of your screen. And once again, we thank you for joining us. Please stay safe, and we look forward to working with you. Take care.